I'm here to discuss ways to preserve your wealth. Working hard and managing our earnings is not an easy task. Sometimes loss of our precious earnings occurs because of sloppiness on our own parts. A lot of my videos are designed to help you with the slippage that occurs because of a lack of knowledge or outright carelessness. I'm trying to help you with both issues. But first, a few personal words for you all. I'm a value person. I'm also a numbers person. I have spent a lifetime thinking about all the ways to make money, save money, spend money wisely, stretch a dollar, and have learned my wealth lessons well. So I feel particularly comfortable in addressing this topic. The number one way you learn lots of this stuff is from your experiences, mostly the bad ones. For whatever reason, you have missed an opportunity, lost money, let something good slip through your hands, and often it is our own fault. The good thing is that is an opportunity when we have suffered a mishap to learn from that situation, particularly our own mistakes, because if we do that, we really are in better shape in the future not to allow the same bad things to occur. Knowledge is indeed experience, and we really are supposed to learn from our experiences. I learn a lot that way, and I hope that you do as well. So I'm going to offer 3 tips, which are really simple guidelines that can dramatically make a difference in your life. Number 1, you must stand up for yourself. As a consumer, we are delighted when we get good service. The problem is that we don't get good service many times. In fact, we may not even be aware of when we are getting bad service. People think getting bad service occurs when the cashier tells you to pile the groceries a certain way and then grimaces. Well, that might be bad manners, but in reality, that kind of poor service hasn't cost you anything. It may cost the employer in terms of lost customers, but really the cost to you of bad service occurs when you are overcharged for an item or two in your grocery cart. Then you are paying the price, a financial price. There are 3 fundamental reasons why we get bad service. The first is that the servicer is not very bright and prone to mistakes and carelessness. The second is that the servicer is not trained very well. Thus, the first 2 ways we get bad service are due to ineptness. The third reason is bad attitude. They could not care less that you receive good service. Some are very quick to take their own personal issues on the job out on their surroundings. And as a result, they don't pay attention to their job or care about quality work. Sometimes they act like they are doing you, the customer, a favor servicing you. Without the right focus and pride in one's work, mistakes abound. So my first tip is to be aware that this is often the way it is, and as a result, you have to protect yourself by checking to make sure that you are getting what you are entitled to. Think about how often you get a bill that is incorrect. Think how often you have done something like pay a bill and then you get threatening letters with penalty charges and all sorts of nefarious warnings. Think about all the problems that we have with home deliveries, purchasing defective products, false advertising where we're told one thing and something else occurs. Now, sometimes we do make mistakes of omission, and these annoyances, which can be costly, are our own fault. However, sometimes these institutions are the ones making the mistake, or worse, guilty of deception or incompetence, and in various ways seek to penalize us for their failings. To combat this, 2 things are necessary. One is to be vigilant to make sure that you identify your bills and pay attention to notices, because if you don't, you suffer in a lot of ways, mostly financial. So you must identify the problem. Secondly, and this is a big one, as important as identifying the problem, you have to do something about it, even though it often means a cost to us in terms of time and aggravation. It can be very troubling how little cooperation that one can get when one tries to fix a problem. There are often excuses and attempts to make it your fault, and honestly, it can be quite an ordeal. I believe that sometimes they battle you instead of trying to help you and attempt to wear you down with the hope that you will go away. Well, don't go away. You must stand up for yourself and fight for your rights. You must be realistic about it and acknowledge that if it is really your fault, then you might not be able to get or correct the situation to your satisfaction. However, when you have clearly been wronged, accepting it and moving on encourages bad service in the future, and the situation will continue. You should try to be diplomatic and fair in such circumstances, but you cannot be weak, because the system will screw you over if you are weak. Let me tell you a story that might help. I had a delivery of 2-bedroom sets, and they cost me a lot of money. And so I waited patiently for this delivery a couple of weeks, and then they called me one day to say that they were coming the next day. So that morning, late in the morning, I got a call, and they were there, and they brought everything up, all these big boxes, and filled up an entire room of these boxes. And I said, okay, so now let me show you where everything's going to go. And they says, well, we'll put them in the rooms, but that's all we can do. And so I said, well, you're supposed to set the merchandise up. And they said, no, that's not part of the deal. We're just supposed to deliver it and put it where it's supposed to go. I said, no, that's not what I agreed to. And so, but they refused to do any more, and so they left. So I called up the company, and the person on the line came back to me and said, yes, they were supposed to set up. You're right. So she says, so we're trying to get somebody, but it looks like it's late in the day. We couldn't get them to come back. And so we're trying to find somebody. So anyway, they did find somebody. It took a few hours, but somebody came and set everything up. And that was a big thing for me. In any case, I was happy with the product. So a few months later, I ordered something else from them. I needed 2 TV stands. And so I bought 2 good ones, not the cheap $50 ones you might get from Walmart. I paid $800 for 2 nice pieces of furniture, 2 TV stands. And anyway, so I waited a couple of weeks for this delivery. And then one morning, I got a call from the delivery guy, and he said he was outside. I said, okay, and I waited, and then I didn't hear him say anything. I said, well, you're going to bring the stuff up? I said, yeah, we'll bring the stuff up. I said, good, and then you're going to set the stuff up? And he said, oh, no. I said, well, we're just going to deliver it. I said, well, wait a second. I says, I paid extra for this to be set up. He says, no, we don't show that. He says, you have gold service. And I said, okay, well, I thought I had white glove service. He says, no, we don't have white glove service. He says, you have gold service. He says, there's platinum service, but you have gold service. I said, no, I know what I agreed to. I read the ad carefully, and it said if I paid this, you would set everything up. He says, well, let me check with my boss. So he got on the phone with his boss and came back to me, and it took like 5 minutes, and he says, no. He says, you only have gold service, and we only deliver the items. He says, what did you pay? I says, well, I paid $75. And he says, oh, we wouldn't do that for $75. He says, look, I know what I ordered. And I says, if you're not going to set the merchandise up, then don't bring it up. I says, I'm just going to cancel the order. So the guy said, well, he's only the delivery guy, so he doesn't even work for the company that I bought the product from, and he doesn't care that much. He said, fine. So anyway, I was annoyed. And so then I called up the company, and I said to them, I waited patiently for this product, and the guy came, and they wouldn't set the merchandise up, so I refused delivery. And so the guy said, well, let me check into it. So I'm on the phone for a long time, and the guy comes back after like 5 to 10 minutes, and he said, Mr. H, he says, you're 100% correct. You did pay. You had white glove service. I said, yeah, that's what I told the guy. He said, well, he should have set the stuff up. He says, let me see what I can do. So he tried to call the guy up and bring the stuff back. And so they turned out it was, once again, too late for them to do that. And he said, I'm sorry, but they can't bring the stuff back, but they can bring the stuff back another day, and we can make an appointment in 12 days. I said, I waited long enough for this. This is really aggravating. They came, they didn't do what they were supposed to do. I'm the one suffering. I don't think I got such a great deal in the first place. Paid a lot of money for these, and I'm not getting what I was promised. He says, well, let me see if I can do something to help you out. He says, well, we can waive that charge, the $75 charge if you want, or we can give you a $200 coupon on a future purchase. And I says, yeah, I know those coupons. They always have restrictions and everything. He says, well, hold on a second. And then he comes back and he says, well, we can give you a $200 gift card. That's worth $200 basically on anything, and you don't have to, there's no restrictions. You can spend exactly $200. So I thought about it and I said, okay, well, I guess that's fair. And so anyway, so I took the card, and eventually the product arrived, and it was a good product, and I was happy about that. But the point is that I had to stand up for myself. It was a pain in the neck to have to argue with these people and go through this, and I had to wait extra time for the delivery, but eventually I got my nice product, and I got fair compensation. So I spoke up for myself. So that is the number one lesson here. You must be vigilant and identify problems when they're occurring, and you must stand up for yourself. Thank you very much.